Am I the a-hole for moving out and ditching my room? I, 18, male, have 3 younger brothers, 16, 13 and 12. Growing up, my parents were always a little bit stricter with me than them. Hey, it happens sometimes, I get it, older sibling things, right? But one thing that constantly bothered me was that whenever relatives would come to stay, I was always the one expected to give up my bedroom. This happened a lot, and often I just ended up sleeping on the couch. My brothers never had to give up their rooms though. If there were too many guests, my parents would put extra mattresses and airbeds in my room, while the other rooms stayed untouched. I brought it up to my parents several times over the years. Last year, they told me they could see it was upsetting me and said, look, we'll do better. After I turned 18 and started working full-time, I began paying board to my parents. However, one of the conditions I had was that, hey, if I'm going to not move out and stay here and pay board instead, I'd really like to not be forced out of the room that I'm paying for. They said, sure, that's reasonable. A month ago, more relatives came to stay and my parents, at the last minute, asked if I could give up my room again. I said, actually, I'd probably rather not. We made an agreement. They said it was still their house and ultimately their decision. So, I didn't argue. I called my grandparents on my mum's side and asked if I could move in with them. They immediately said yes. When they arrived to help pack my things, my parents thought I was bluffing until they saw my stuff actually loaded into the car. They started panicking and saying, I couldn't just leave. I paid them board and I need to give them notice. I told them that if I'm no longer allowed to use the space that I'm paying for, I don't see a reason to stay. So, am I the a-hole for moving out and abandoning my room? Personally, I don't think this one's very black and white. If the original poster lives in a culture where it's really common to move out, then I can see why they'd be upset. I mean, they agreed to stay on the condition that they got to have this room, and now all of a sudden it's been taken away from them. But if they live in a culture where it's more common to stay with your family, even as an adult, I can understand why their parents might be upset. But then there's also the fact that the parents did break the promise they made. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.